In this last video in this series, we'll discuss the progress of women during the Progressive Era. During the Progressive Era, we have women participating in the industrial society. They're working outside the home, often in factories that have long hours and horrible work conditions. Minority and immigrant women are especially abused because of their desperate circumstances. They don't have many choices about where they can work and how much they can work for, because they just need to survive and they don't have a lot of education. In the case Muller versus Oregon, lawyer Louis D. Brandeis successfully argued that long working hours harmed working women and their families. And of course, for women, this is a landmark case because it recognizes the plight of these minority and immigrant women. Florence Kelly is one of the most notable characters during the Progressive Era. She was involved in many issues, including child labor and women's rights. She actually founded the National Consumers League, the NCL, which made sure that products were made under safe and fair conditions and that they were labeled as such. So that is sort of like the Good Housekeeping seal, you could say. Okay, that the product was made under good working conditions. Kelly also founded the Women's Trade Union League, the WTUL, designed to improve working conditions for women factory workers. And in class we will watch the short video on the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire, which really touched a lot of people and provoked many to work for reform for women and also factory workers. In the 1860s, Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton fought for the right to vote. Of course, we know that they organized the Seneca Falls Convention, wrote the Declaration of Sentiments, and that those efforts failed. But they did draw attention to the issue of women's suffrage. And in the 1900s, Carrie Chapman Catt encouraged women to join the National American Women's Suffrage Association. And she was a lawyer who advocated, of course, for women's right to vote. Interestingly, some women opposed it. They didn't see that it was a woman's place to take part in the political process. Ida B. Wells, on the other hand, and you'll recognize that name from African American Reform because she was the woman who had 3 friends lynch and was very outspoken about lynching and equality for African Americans. She was also a tireless worker for women's suffrage, and she marched on Washington for suffrage in 1913. Finally, in 1917, Catt and Kelly led the NAWSA in the support of World War I. In this effort, women worked kind of behind the scenes to support the country while men were away at war. They took over in many men's jobs and really helped run the country while men were away fighting at war. And this convinced legislators that women were really important in terms of the economy and politics of this country, and it convinced many to advocate for women's right to vote. And finally, in 1919, Congress approved the 19th Amendment, which said that voting cannot be denied based on gender and allowed, of course, women to vote. The 19th Amendment became official in 1920. That's when it was ratified. So that's it for this presentation on discrimination. We'll talk about other important characteristics of the Progressive Era in the following presentations. But that's it for now. See you in class.